going on, guys? I got a pretty cool video for today. We're going to find out what would happen if every single goalie in the NHL went back to their original team. Now, it could mean the team that drafted them, or if they were unsigned free agents, it's the first team they ever played for. So I'm going to show you guys what every single team looks like after making those changes. I'll tell you guys right now, some teams got a lot better, others got a lot worse. Some teams I noticed too are like really good at getting goalies, where others not so much. So starting off here with the Anaheim Ducks, John Gibson, of course, still the starting goaltender, and then Kevin Boyle, there's actually the back, which kind of makes sense because they've had Gibson for the past, 9 years now. They really haven't needed to get another goalie. Arizona Coyotes, so they're one, not really a lot there. You got Aiden Hill as a starter now, 81 overall, Louis Domingue, and then Prosvetov there as the third stringer. On Boston, Malcolm Subban's the starter, Hutchinson backing him up. Obviously, kind of like Anaheim, they've had Tuukka Rask for a while now, so a team that's had a goalie for a while, obviously isn't going to be drafting a lot of new goalies. And unfortunately for Boston, they were not Tuukka Rask's original team, so they're kind of getting screwed over here. Buffalo Sabres, Linus Ullmark, Cal Peterson, I actually didn't know first was on Buffalo. Ryan Miller, of course. Jonas Johansson, who just got traded to Colorado Avalanche. Calgary Flames here, David Riddick, Laurent Brossoit, Craig Anderson. So this is one I didn't realize. I thought his original team was Ottawa. It was actually Chicago. And you can see it says drafted by Chicago. But a couple years before that, he was actually drafted by the Flames, also in the third round of the 1999 draft. But they couldn't come to terms on a contract, so he went back in the draft. And of course, was drafted by Chicago. Also, Curtis McElhinney there. John Gillies. And then you have the Carolina Hurricanes, and same sort of thing with Craig Anderson. Happened to Freddie Anderson. You guys might have thought he was drafted by the Ducks. That's what it shows in game. But actually in the 2010 draft, I think the Hurricanes got him in like the 7th round. But again, never came to an agreement on contract. Went back to the draft, and the Ducks took him. Nedoljevich there is the backup. After him, you have Chicago Blackhawks, Antti Ranta, Lankinen, and Hutton are their 3 goalies. Now, kind of cool thing, I guess, look at the Blackhawks 3 goalies. None of these guys were actually drafted by the Blackhawks. They all went undrafted. But the Blackhawks were the first team they signed with. And I think a big reason for the Blackhawks not drafting a lot of goalies recently is because they've had Corey Crawford for the past, decade or so, similar to Gibson on Anaheim, Rask on Boston. And real quick, guys, I want to thank Dr. Squatch for sponsoring today's video. Dr. Squatch will take your shower game to the next level by providing natural, healthy products that allows you to level up your soap game as well as step up your scent. All of Dr. Squatch's soaps are made in the USA, as you guys can see right there on the side of the packaging. Also, they include all natural ingredients. You compare them to like big soap brands, you can really tell what's natural and what's not. Just looking on the back of this one, made with olive oil, coconut oil, shea butter, pine fragrance, oatmeal, sand, charcoal, clay, sea salt. They're definitely creative over there on the ingredients they're using. If you guys want a quick look, they actually come in different colors too, so I'm not sure if you guys would care, but this one here is black. There's another one I have actually that's really cool, definitely my favorite. This one is the Grapefruit IPA. It's literally made out of beer. Honestly, it's really cool to me, all the creative sense they come up with, which explains why hundreds of thousands of men are already subscribed to Dr. Squatch, which means every single month they get a new bar of fresh soap at their door. And the best part is, guys, if you aren't 100% satisfied, this isn't the best bar of soap you've ever used. They'll send you your money back, no questions asked, so there's no risk at all to give it a try. And right now they actually have a special offer where new customers can get 20% off on orders of $20 or more. All you have to do is use my code DSCTacticsHD20. Click the link in the description, it'll bring you right there. Again, guys, that's code DSCTacticsHD20. Obviously, if you check it out, it helps with the channel, so make sure you go and do that. Again, risk-free. If you don't like it, you get your money back. Now, let's get back to the video. Colorado Avalanche here. Frank, who's actually their starter. I was kind of surprised by this. They really haven't had a lot of homegrown goalie talent. Picard there is the backup. Warner, third string. Miska's the fourth. Columbus Blue Jackets here, of course. Merzlikins and Korpisalo both. Anton Forsberg and Oscar Danks. I remember I was listening to a Spin Chicklets podcast, and Merzlikins mentioned how he stayed in Europe for a bit because at the time Columbus had Bobrovsky, Korpisalo, Forsberg, and Danks. So he looked at the depth chart and he's like, I might be the 5th goalie. And at the time he actually probably was. Dallas here, Mike Smith, Jake Ottinger, Jack Campbell, and Landon Bowe. Jack Campbell and Jake Ottinger both first-round picks. Kind of feel bad for the Stars. I feel like you should have a better goalie than they have based on 2 first-rounders. You then have the Detroit Red Wings. Peter Mrazek here's our starter. I still wish we could go back and trade Howard opposed to Mrazek, but what are you going to do? Phil Larson there backing him up. We actually got him in the 6th round of the 2016 draft. After that, you have the Edmonton Oilers. Devin Dubnyk's their starter. Stuart Skinner backing him up. I couldn't actually find like another Edmonton goalie. Florida Panthers, Jacob Markstrom. So I'd say they get a bit of an upgrade, honestly, from Bobrovsky. Montembeault is his backup. LA Kings here, they actually have a few. Jonathan Bernier, who's now the starter. He was backing up Jonathan Quick, which is why they traded him. He's actually 1 overall higher now. It's kind of funny how that works. Martin Jones, the third stringer there, and then Christopher Gibson, the fourth. Now the Minnesota Wild have 3 solid goalies. Anton Khudobin, Darcy Kemper, both 85s. Tackett in there, 84. He'll be their AHL starter, so pretty good AHL starting goalie. Montreal, of course, has Carey Price still as a starter with Yaroslav Halak backing him up. I remember, when was the last season Halak played for Montreal? I want to say like 12-13. Okay, I'm a little early on it. It was 2009, 2010. But I remember at the end of that season, they were talking about should Montreal trade Carey Price, hold on to Halak, and we all know Price ended up winning, I think, a Vezina. After that, was nominated for a couple, so they definitely made the right choice, but still pretty crazy. I remember those talks going on. Nashville Predators here actually stay the same, no changes. Pecorine and Saros, so they're 2 goalies. I think they're the only team that actually didn't have a single change. New Jersey Devils here, Blackwood, Kincaid, and Wedgwood. The New York Islanders here have Mikko Koskinen as a starter, Ilya Sorokin backing him up, and then Anders Nielsen here who's a 70 because he's on LTIR, so doesn't really count. Sorokin honestly I think might be a better goalie than Koskinen, but it's going to be close. They'll probably split time. Rangers actually have quite a bit of goalies as well. Shishurkin there's the starter, Lundqvist backing him up, Talbot's the third stringer, Georgiev there fourth. The Rangers definitely have one of the better groups of goalies here. Ottawa Senators as well, actually really good. Robin Leonard there, the starter. Chris Drieger backing him up. Brian Elliott, I forgot, back in the day, of course, played for Ottawa. Joey Decord, Andrew Hammond as well, 4 and 5. Philadelphia Flyers, Bobrovsky went undrafted, but the first team he signed with was Philadelphia Flyers. Then you have Carter Hart backing him up, Anthony Stolarz, Alex Leon. Pittsburgh Penguins here, another team. A lot of good goalies. Marc-Andre Fleury is going back to Pittsburgh. Jerry's backing him up. DeSmith, Matt Murray. The fact Murray's rated below DeSmith and Jerry, I feel like the team has to factor in a bit. If he was still playing for Pittsburgh, he'd probably have similar numbers to these two, but whatever. I actually noticed with the most recent roster update EA put out, a ton of goalie ratings actually have changed, so I didn't know that. They didn't really tweet it out or whatever, and I'm obviously using my custom rosters. So I'm thinking I'll actually have a roster update review video up for you guys very soon. Look at the San Jose Sharks now. Aaron Dell's the starter. Stalock, I guess, one of the two will be the starter. They're same rating. Thomas Greiss only an 81. He's gone down. And then Troy Grosenick there. St. Louis Blues, they get a big upgrade. Ben Bishop, literally big, 6'7". Bington backing him up. Both these guys actually played quite a bit of time in the minors before eventually making it to NHL, so that's kind of cool. I know Ben Bishop, I think he got his big break with Tampa Bay, maybe Ottawa. Yeah, Ottawa got 13 games with, got traded to Tampa. That's really where he broke through. You can see before that, just had a lot of time spent in the AHL, similar to Jordan Binnington, Jake Allen there, third string. Phoenix Copley as well, I didn't realize. Actually played his first couple NHL games for the St. Louis Blues. And then Ville Husso there, of course, is the fifth stringer. Tampa Bay Lightning, Vasilevsky still the starter. And then either Connor Ingram or Tokarski there will be the backup. Toronto Maple Leafs, they get a big upgrade in net. Tuukka Rask is their starter now. 90 overall, if you guys don't know. First round pick, 21st overall back in the 2005 draft. And then when he was still a prospect, they decided to trade him for Andrew Raycroft, who did just win a Calder Trophy a couple years prior. But he didn't really look like a Calder winner anymore. And that trade still haunts the Leafs to this day, I think. Then you have James Reimer backing him up. Reimer, I think, still a Leafs fan favorite. Garrett Sparks there as the third string. And next year you have the Vancouver Canucks. Thatcher Demko's their starting goalie. Corey Schneider backing him up. Corey Schneider, of course, was a beast in his prime, but he's definitely fell off in recent years. Now to the Vancouver Canucks, we have the Vegas Golden Knights. This is where we're really going to find out how much goalies affect the sim. Their starter there is Logan Thompson, 72 overall. He was actually undrafted but signed with the Vegas Golden Knights. Kind of cool, actually. I looked into him. He was actually the starting goalie for Brock University a couple of years ago in the 18-19 season. I had a friend going to school there at that time. I actually got accepted to that school, but I ended up going to Windsor. So it's pretty crazy how in 2 years he went from playing hockey for Canadian University, which isn't on the same level as the NCAA as all the best Canadian players just play junior, and now he's in the NHL. Having said that, he only played in one game this year. He didn't start. He came in and made like a couple saves. He hasn't been scored on yet, but I was actually looking into him. In the AHL this year, he's played 11 games, 9-2 record with a 1.92 goals against and a .944 save percentage. So I think Logan Thompson might be a goalie to look out for in the future. We'll see whether or not he can carry this Vegas Golden Knights team. He's definitely the underdog in this sim. And then backing him up here, you got Yuri Patera, who's only 64 overall, so he won't be much help. Vegas Golden Knights took him in the 6th round of the 2017 draft. Next up, Washington Capitals. This is probably the best core of goalies out of everybody. Grubauer and Varlamov are their starter and backup, both 86, so they'll probably just split games. Holtby there's a third stringer. Samsonov will be the backup in the AHL. And then Vanacek, who's 82 overall, is the 5th string goalie. He'll be scratched in the AHL. Like, that's pretty insane. Grubauer, of course, they traded to the Colorado Avalanche. Varlamov, they also traded to the Colorado Avalanche. So the Avs like to get their goalies from the Capitals. Grubauer, I think they traded like a second and third round pick for. Varlamov, they actually traded the 13th pick in the 2012 draft for, which the Capitals used to take Philip Forsberg, who of course they then traded for Martin Erat. So kind of like Tuukka Rask, I feel the Varlamov trade is a bit of a sore spot for the Capitals because they know what transpired after. Holtby, of course, went to the Canucks. Samsonov is now the starter, but yeah, some good goalies on the Capitals. And then Winnipeg Jets here. Connor Hellebuyck's still the starter, and then Eric Comrie there is the backup. Vegas Golden Knights, like I said, have to be the underdog. I think they're the only team who don't have an 80-plus goalie as their starter, and Thompson's barely a 70, so should be interesting to see what happens here. Now, it doesn't really matter, guys. Before the sim, I think we're going to use the Vegas Golden Knights here, the underdog, see if they can somehow make the playoffs. You can see they've dropped in rating all the way to 82 overall, losing both Fleury and Leonard. All the ratings are actually going to be quite a bit different because, goaltending makes up a third of it. You can see in the West, Edmonton and Vancouver are now the highest rated, both 87s. In the Central there, Winnipeg's the best at 88. Atlantic, Tampa Bay still a 90. In the Metro, looks like Washington's the best, or sorry, not Washington, Carolina at 89. So in terms of the worst team, we're actually tied with the Detroit Red Wings, both rated 82 overall, but Vegas definitely has a better roster in front of the goalie. Now for the seconds, guys, I'm actually going to turn computer trades off, as the whole point of this is to see how the teams do with their homegrown goalie talent. I feel like, if we leave this on, there's going to be a ton of goalie trades for sure. As a bunch of teams have way too many NHL caliber goalies, while other teams desperately need one. So, even though we won't have any player trades, just basically the only way to do it. And before the sim, guys, I wanted to quickly show you what the Vegas Golden Knights lines look like. So this is the team we're going to be using. So I guess the team we're rooting for is, like I said, I think they're the underdog, considering the goalie situation. You can see, chemistry's not too bad. Again, Thompson, 72, he needs to play big for us. I was actually able to get the first power play of +3, so maybe that could help this team out. I'm curious too, their offense, defense, goaltending stats. I feel like they're probably going to be like low 90 offense, defense, and then goaltending might even be like high 60, honestly. We'll see here. 87, 89, 62. So I guess start the sim now and see what happens. Now as I'm simming, guys, I see the San Jose Sharks are offering us Thomas Greiss for a couple picks. I'm surprised we haven't actually gotten more of these trade offers, as clearly we're in need of a goalie and there's a ton of teams with extra ones. So really surprised, honestly, that's our first trade offer. And now we have the Capitals trying to trade us Philip Grubauer, who's actually a pretty solid goalie. Martinez, a few picks. That's actually not too bad of a trade if we weren't, doing this video. And now we have the Minnesota Wild trying to trade us Darcy Kemper for a couple picks. Again, normally wouldn't be too bad of a trade. So we're almost at the deadline here, a couple games away. You can see we are below 500, which probably to be expected again based on our goaltending. I was hoping we could have had a bit of a Cinderella run. I see that we're not the worst team in the division. There's definitely, a lot of disparity here. Probably based on the goalies to some part. Stone there, 61 points in 63 games. So the Kings, 40 points. That's rough. Like, they didn't actually get worse. I think Bernier is higher rated than Cal Peterson. So, I don't know. The Kings just aren't simming well. The Coyotes definitely did get worse, though, and it's showing. The Jets are playing very well. Same with the Blues. They got Bishop for free. Blackhawks 57 is a bit surprising. I don't think they got any worse either. Red Wings last, kind of as it should be. The Bruins make sense. No Tuukka Rask. It's going to be tough. The Sabres, first in the division. That's why I made a video, seeing how many sins it would take for them to win the Cup. Because in this game, they just play too well. The Penguins, 55 points. They added Fleury, so a big upgrade in goal, and they're the worst team in the Metro. That's a big surprise. So we're now at the end of the season here, guys, with a 35-39-8 record. Unfortunately, Golden Knights, couldn't find a bit of magic to somehow squeak into the playoffs. But I'll show you guys how the rest of the standings went, the leading scorers, all that good stuff. Stone there, our leading scorer, 74 points, 82 games. The Ducks actually won the division, 91 points. Ducks are the exact same team, so that's actually a bit of a surprise. Canucks, Flames, and then all the wildcards from the Central. Sharks, Oilers, we finished 6th. Quite a bit better there than the Kings at 62. Coyotes 59. Wow, so that, losing both Kemper and Ranta really hurt them. We actually finished only 6 points back of a playoff spot behind the Flames. So if we got a little bit lucky, we actually might have been able to squeeze in. Now looking at the Central here, totally different story. Bunch of stacked teams. Jets 117, Blues 110, Wild 106. You got the Avalanche, Stars making it, Predators, Blackhawks. And even though the Blackhawks are in last, they still have more points than we did. East here, Sabres did win the division. Similar story, I guess. 5 teams in the Atlantic making the playoffs. Maple Leafs, Lightning, Canadians, Panthers, Senators, Bruins, Red Wings all miss. The Bruins, again, I guess that makes sense. They lose Tuukka Rask. They didn't really have a great goalie, I think. Was it Malcolm Subban's their starter? So it's a big downgrade from Rask. Flyers, Capitals, and Hurricanes in the Metro. The Penguins actually did climb back. It made no sense how they were last in the division. Blue Jackets finished last there. Still surprised, actually, the Penguins just didn't dominate. I thought, they're already a good team. Adding Fleury would have made them even better. So looking at everyone here, you can see the Winnipeg Jets won the President's Trophy, 117 points. And again, they didn't really change because Brossoit went to Calgary, but Comrie was already in the AHL team for them. so I just called him up. And Arizona did finish last there, 59 points, 36 win percentage is not great. I'm curious, so who had the best goals against? LA had the worst, which didn't even have the worst goalie. We did by quite a bit, and I don't even see our goals against. Minnesota was the best, 234. So were we like somewhere in the middle of the pack? Because with a 72 goalie, that's pretty good. Wow. Way better goals against than Colorado. Pittsburgh had Fleury in net. We were better than that. Columbus had their same goalies. The Capitals, I showed you guys the core. They had 286s. I don't know what's going on. They have a pretty good defense in Washington as well. So pretty honestly surprising results in some sense. Next here, just going to take a look at the entire league. Mark Scheifele popped off. 125 points. That's why the Jets won the President's Trophy. Eichel as well had a really good year. Wheeler Connor on that top line. So that top line probably had like a +5 chem boost or something. And that's why they did so good. Voracek would have bounced back here, 101 points. We'll take a look quickly at the defense. Drew Doughty, 80 points. Jeez. Rookie skaters, and we'll do goalies. Kaprizov, 83. So kind of what you'd expect. And then Tuukka Rask had the most wins, 45 with the Maple Leafs. Bishop there, big year at the Blues. Hellebuck, Allmark. Frank, who's actually played still pretty good with Colorado. Fleury had 35 wins with the Penguins. Again, I'm so surprised, but he had below .9 save percentage. Again, the Penguins are definitely one of the more surprising teams. Save percentage, Khudobin a .92. Wow. Goals against. Boyle, Harry Back when the Ducks had the worst at 4. Khudobin also had the best goals against, 2.42. And who had the most shutouts? Mrazek, 8 shutouts on Detroit. Wow. So Detroit was last in the division, but Mrazek was definitely trying his hardest. 8 shutouts. Basically just got them 8 wins, a .9 and 3.15. Yeah, he was hustling there. So we'll sit in the playoffs now, see who wins the Stanley Cup, check out the awards. Right now, based on this information, obviously Winnipeg Jets look like the heavy favorite. But I'm going to pull a bit of a wild card here. I'm going to say Maple Leafs with Rask and net. Get it done. Alright guys, draft results are in. Columbus there picking first overall. We're picking second. I didn't even realize the 3 worst teams in the NHL, Arizona, LA, Vegas, were the 3 bomb teams in the Pacific. Tampa Bay Lightning, you'll see, actually won the Stanley Cup, so they defended it. They go back to back. We'll have to take a look at the playoff tree. And look at that, you actually have a rematch of the 2004 Stanley Cup Final. Again, Tampa Bay gets the better of the Calgary Flames. So Tampa beat the Leafs in 5 in the first round. That was my pick. Beat the Florida Panthers in 7, Capitals in 5. Flames there, beat the Canucks in 6, Avs in 7, swept the Blues, before, of course, losing to the Lightning. Take a look at the awards now. Like I mentioned, Tampa Bay, of course, goes back-to-back. You already know the team awards. Individual here, Scheifele gets the Art Ross. Also got the Hart Trophy. Drew Doughty, James Norris. Austin Matthews, though, won the Lady Byng. I think he has a chance to win that this year. Kaprizov, Calder. Kucherov, Conn Smythe. Hedman actually won it last year. Tuukka Rask, though, did win the Vezina. Okay, good for him. Darcy Kemper with William Jennings, split with Khudobin. So, I mean, we saw Khudobin's numbers. They're really good. Nemeth, Bill Masterton. Buffalo coach Jack Adams, that makes sense. O'Reilly, Selke. Scheifele, Ted Lindsay, and then Ovi there, Maurice Richard. So overall, I thought that was a cool sim. If you ask me right now who I thought the best goalie in the NHL was, I'd probably say Vasilevsky. So the fact Tampa Bay won with Vasilevsky in net for the goalie video, I definitely like that. But that's me for this one, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that sub button. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.